The World Bank, the IMF, they have exonerated themselves and pushed the blame to President Bola Tinubu's administration. But they forgot that they are one of the people that engineered him to do what he's doing. They have come, even during President Buhari's administration, they pressed on him to remove subsidy, but he refused. These global bodies, who lends all these monies to countries, they will press on you to implement their own agenda on your country. Otherwise, they will not give you the loan. So, but today, they didn't take any blame. They are now blaming the President Bola Tinubu's administration that the high level of poverty in the country is caused by, the reforms that he was doing. Who told him to do the reforms? Is it not the IMF? Is it not the World Bank? Are then the reforms is due? Is it not part of the conditionalities for the country to access, loans from them? It is. So why are they not taking responsibility as well that they are part of the brain behind the reforms? They should, and that should be fair enough. Hello, my people. Welcome to my channel. A few days ago, the World Bank, released a report, looking at the global economy and kind of assessing, different countries of the world, trying to project into what they think is going to happen, in 2025 until 2027. And I'm going to focus on Nigeria, basically. Looking at that report and so many, information that was put out there, I felt somehow worried, in as much as we already know, what the situation looks like, back home in Nigeria. Since May 29, 2023, when President Bola Tinubu's administration took over power, the economy nosedived. That Nigeria lost almost about 50% of its, economic, growth because of the kind of policies and, programs that this government, put into place. And this kind of created a whole lot of economic hardship and turmoil, within the country, to the point that even the citizens protested in August 2024 on what they tagged hunger protest. It went across the whole country. People were protesting on how difficult it is to even feed in the country, not to talk about shelter, not to talk about, other basic amenities. But we're going to look into most of this information. And the one that is most worrisome is the issue on poverty. And I think that is tied to, the kind of stringent policies that this administration of Bola Tinubu, brought in. But we're going to look at this whole thing, linking it to, the agenda of this president, and what has, transpired within the nation for almost 2 years that this government has been into power. So guys, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like and share this video, and also to subscribe to my channel, and also press on the notification bell so that once I drop any new video, you will be among first to be notified, so that you will get the video as it is hot. All right, having said that, let's look at, President Bola Tinubu's journey to the presidency. When he was contesting to become the president of Nigeria, then he came up with a mantra tagged Renewed Hope 2023, right? And what one can understand from that word is that Nigeria's situation then was not too good enough, but was fairly good, and his government is coming in to make it better, right? To renew the hope of the people, to make them have, more hope and confidence and believe in their nation, because it's going to turn things around. That's kind of what the mantra is trying to portray, So, but when we look at this mantra, renewed hope, and where we are today, after almost 2 years, by next month, May, this administration will become fully 2 years. When we look at that, is there any sign that this government has come to renew the hope of the people? For me personally, I don't think so. Because there's no hope that this administration came to renew. Rather, this administration came to kill the hope of the people. What an average Nigerian is looking for is to have basic necessities of life. They are not asking for much. And those basic necessities of life is to have a job, which they do, to be able to earn income, to feed themselves and take care of their families, to have shelter over their head, to have good schools where they can send their kids that is affordable, to have good hospital where they can go and take treatment so that common malaria will not be killing them, just like it used to kill them. All right. And they are looking for good roads if they are traveling so that their journey can be smooth. They are also looking for security so that when they sleep at night, they sleep with their 2 eyes closed. They need potable water. So these are things that are easy and simple to provide. But no, it's difficult for the government to do so. On annual basis, government prepare budgets which accumulates trillions of naira at the federal level and billions of naira at the state level. Even the local government, nobody knows what happens in the local government. At the end of the day, all these billions and trillions that were budgeted goes down the drain. ends up in people's pocket as a result of high level of corruption in the country. And that is why you hardly see development, showing up in the country. So the only places you can see development is when there are individuals who have integrity, who have a name to protect, who vow that they must do what is right to improve the lives of their people. That's the only places you can see development. For example, in Abia State, the governor who is in Abia State is showing this exemplary leadership. Despite being a minority governor, he delivers democratic dividend to his people. You can see roads that are being constructed, roads that were not done for years. You can see electricity. You can see a lot of infrastructure he is putting in place. These are things other governors were unable to do. So that is what we are talking about, that Nigeria's major problem is leadership. If Nigeria have good leaders, Nigeria can be turned around in a couple of years because the resources are there. They have a lot of natural resources. They have a lot of human capital that can be turned into gold. But no, because of poor leadership and the poor electoral system that they have in place, the worst comes to lead the best. That's exactly what the situation is. Now, you recall that on May 29, 2023, the first thing that President Bola Tinubu did was to remove subsidy. He removed subsidy on petroleum products. He removed subsidy on electricity. He also removed subsidy on forests. And this whole thing, plus the devaluation of Naira, triggered a lot of economic chaos in the country. Now, based on all this implementation of all these kind of programs in line with World Bank and IMF conditionalities because of the enormous loans they have borrowed from them. But today you can see what happened. The World Bank, the IMF, they have exonerated themselves and pushed the blame to President Bola Tinubu's administration. But they forgot that they are one of the people that engineered him to do what he's doing. They have come, even during President Buhari's administration, they pressed on him to remove subsidy, but he refused. So when you look at all these things, these global bodies, who lends all these monies to countries, they will press on you to implement their own agenda on your country. Otherwise, they will not give you the loan. So, but today, they didn't take any blame. They are now blaming the President Bola Tinubu's administration that the high level of poverty in the country is caused by, the reforms that he was doing. Who told him to do the reforms? Is it not the IMF? Is it not the World Bank? Are then the reforms is due? Is it not part of the conditionalities for the country to access, loans from them? It is. So why are they not, not taking responsibility as well that they are part of the brain behind the reforms? They should, and that should be fair enough. Now, when you look at this whole, issues, I begin to wonder that Nigeria as a country is contributing 15% to the world extreme, poverty rate. And now, when you look at the Sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria is contributing 19%. So we are now being compared with Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo as people who are contributing high in the poverty, level of Sub-Saharan Africa. That is ridiculous. Nigeria, that was the biggest economy in Africa, suddenly is now contributing the highest number of poverty in the whole world. And remember, it's been said before that Nigeria is the world poverty capital of the world. And today, this administration has confirmed it by the kind of reforms that they were doing. So the reforms are not showing any positive impact on the people. That is the problem. So for you to do this kind of reform, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place. You can't just come, take off all subsidies without providing any succor to the people. And that is where the government failed. You just mount the podium and make an announcement. You have no system in place. You have no structure in place. You have no plan in place on how to cushion the impact of the reforms that you want to do. You don't even have cabinet members in place. No think tank in place. And you are taking this kind of reforms. You devalue the currency. You floated the naira. And so on and so forth. So these are the things that have led the country to where it is today. Now, I will tell you, I will provide my own, views on what the government needs to do to tackle these situations headlong, at least for the next 2 years. But unfortunately, as we speak, they are more focused in politics, preparing for 2027 election. So the next 2 years will even be for elections. For them, they are not interested in what is going on in the economy, in what is going on in the country. And that's so sad to see. So when you look at that report that that came out, in Washington D.C. by the World Bank, IMF, and the rest of them, you begin to understand that between now and 2027 is going to be a very difficult, period, for the country. Now, Ever since I was growing up, I've been hearing that Nigeria, I studied it even in agriculture in secondary school then, that Nigeria is practicing mono economy. That is, they are relying only on oil, natural resources, right? That at that time, in the 70s and 80s and all that, the major contributor in Nigerian GDP was agriculture. But today, it's no more what it is. It is no more. So all those kind of things that Nigeria do during the groundnut pyramid, during the cocoa boom, and the rest of them, the palm oil in the southeast, and the rest, so all those time has eroded. Why? Because of Oloibiri. Oil was discovered and they jettisoned agriculture because that was easy money. Drill it from the soil, move it abroad, and money frees everywhere. Remember when they did first tax, 77, right? During Obasanjo's era. There was so much money, they don't know what to do with the money, and they began to fritter them away. So look at where we are today. The Jonathan's government handed over a better economy, but today, Buhari's regime and Tinubu's regime has destroyed everything that this country has worked for. When you look at that report, you will hear or you will see the place, they were still mentioning about Nigeria need to diversify. And I must tell you that for ages, for decades, Nigeria have been talking about diversifying the economy, but the question is, what have they done so far to diversify the economy? Nothing. When you look at this whole setup, you will understand that our leaders, they are just there. They are not thinking, they are not planning on what to do to revive the economy. But whatever they say is lip service. Don't forget that President Bola Tinubu said he's implementing a Sub-Saharan report, which talks about shrinking, the government, in kind of cutting costs, cutting down waste in government. Till today, nothing was done. Instead, Bola Tinubu was creating more ministries instead of merging and shrinking ministries. If you look at some of my videos, I've made recommendations that the president of Nigeria is supposed to pay a visit to the president of Argentina, or set up 5-man committee, go to Argentina, understudy what that president did, Evia Millet, what he did in Argentina, and then come back, brief us. We see how we domesticate, his agenda in Nigeria. This man came into Argentina. Argentina was at the rock bottom when he came in, and he came in, shrink the government, just like Orosa report recommended. He cut off agencies of government that are, bringing waste, and they stop funding them, close them down. He merged the ones that need to be merged. He scrapped the ones that need to be scrapped. From there, he cut off, waste and saved money for the government. And then he began to implement programs and policies that, will be able to revive the economy and be able to strengthen, the people. And before you know it, this man achieved balanced budget within 2 years of his administration, which has never done before. Over 130 years, they have been in, a budget deficit. But today, they are in balanced budget. And that is exactly what President of America is trying to do in America today. That's why you can see him, creating tariff wars and, all those, because he wants to rake in money from external so that he will bring down the cost of taxation for his people so that they can breed a little bit. So these are the thinking, and you can see him scrapping, Department of Education, and scrapping so many other agencies, and even, letting people, go from federal service and settling them to leave the service. And all these things are in a bid to cut down waste and to shrink the size of government, because they are in debt of about 36 trillion. Which need to be paid. So these are the issues that when you see an active president who wants to do something good, you will see it by his action. It's not about shouting renewed hope, shouting on our mandate we stand. I don't see any mandate we stand. The mandate is bringing poverty to the country. If Nigeria is contributing 15% to global poverty, then there's a problem. So before I know, the number of people below poverty line in extreme poverty was about over 100 million, slightly above 100 million. By today, if you do a real analysis and collect data, you will see that they are up to 180 million, if not up to 200 million, because of these harsh economic policies. Businesses left the country when this government came in with their harsh reform. Businesses left. Businesses shut down and left. And every business that shut down, people are laid off. That's what it is. So the level of unemployment became so high. If they like, let them rebase and change all the method of conducting all this. It doesn't change anything. If you like, inflation was 34 point something percent today. After they are rebasing, it's now 24 point something. That doesn't change anything. When you go to the market, your market will tell you the level of inflation. Your pocket will show you the level of inflation. I can see some videos, people buying food in a restaurant, just normal complete food like this. You'll be seeing them price of a food 25,000 in a restaurant, in a known restaurant. So is that the kind of country people need to survive? So that's difficult. All right. So when you look at The damning things in that report I feel so much worried because I don't know where the country is going to be by 2027. But what is important to these politicians now is how to win an election, how to wrestle power from APC, how to hold power, how to retain power, how to remain in power. They don't care about all these statistics that are coming out. After all, President Bola Tinubu said before, now statistics will go shop. You see not what he said when P2B was reading our statistics, comparing countries to each other and things like that. He said now statistics will go chop. So somebody that is not working with data, what kind of development are you expecting from the person? That is the point. So this government is not really addressing the issues of the country. Now, number one, insecurity is one major problem that is leading this country to doom. And I was expecting that when president is sworn in, he will be able to tackle security headlong. But he didn't do that. Since he came into date, there's no improvement in security where Buhari left it. It's getting worse by the day. President Buhari, in his first year in office, I can say he even tried. At that time, he was able to suppress Boko Haram and all those things. Bombing stopped, and they can't enter Abuja anymore. And there was improvement until he became sick and the cabal took over, and we went back to square one. So most of these people, they have no interest of the country at heart. They don't care about what happens. How can you kill over 150 people in your country as president? You are still abroad traveling, and you are hearing the news. No. I can't say American president, they kill 5 people in America. He's still outside. No, he must be home. And they will call security meeting immediately and they begin to deal with the problems. But in Nigeria, it's a different case. So without security, there can never be food security. Mark me right. Because I've been in this system and I've, handled security sector and also do a comprehensive report on all the sectors of the economy at that time. And first thing I found out was that agri sector has little or no growth at that time. That was during Buhari's administration. And I began to dig deeper to find out why is the agri sector not improving despite the huge funding. Because Buhari's government, increased funding to agriculture by over 150%, but the growth is 0.005%, very minute. And I discovered that it was insecurity that was the problem, because farmers are afraid to be killed. That was when they killed about 70-something people in Agatu community then, farmers, and so on and so forth. So this fear was there. Farmers can't go to farm. And the CBN governor was there, MFL, was doing Uncle Browa's program. But all these things, the program they were doing was not trickling down to the farm. It ends to the farmer, but the farmer doesn't go to the farm. So most of the monies were stolen also. So when you look at this whole thing, you begin to understand that until we deal with security, this insecurity problem in the country, we will never have food sufficiency. And not just that, many things will not work in the country. Now, to travel is a problem. Every day you see videos of people traveling and kidnappers are kidnapping people, they bomb vehicles and all that. People can travel. Not everybody can afford to travel by air. The president should sit down. All this junketing from France to England and the rest of them is uncalled for. You need to sit down and identify the root cause of our problem and begin to deal with them squarely. Insecurity must be tackled headlong with all venom, because now no farmer can go to farm. You can see what is happening across the country, in Benue, in Plateau, in Borno, and the rest of them. Even in Uromi, you can see what herdsmen are doing, right? They come in, eat farmers' crops. When the farmer complains, they kill them, and so on. Who will go to farm? Who will plant for cattle to come and finish it? So there are a lot of things that need to be done, which I will begin to give you steps for me, I think, that need to be taken. Number one, to address this issue, the government needs to strengthen the police, strengthen the army, strengthen the air force. All the security architecture need to be strengthened. When I'm talking about strengthening, you talk about physical weapons, right? The equipment, that's one part. Their welfare, that's another part, right? Road network, because when you call police and they comes and there's no road to navigate to where you are, there's nothing they can do. Before they trek or they look for bike, the assailants must have been done and they left. That's why they always come late. So you need to start working on rural community roads. The governors, the local government officials, so you should start be working on rural community roads to improve road network in these communities. It will also help to even bring out farm produce when they are ready, right? That's another part of it. Internet service, phone network need to be across. The telecoms need to continue to go down the hinterland to put services so that people can easily reach out to security, and make sure that the short code are working, like they have 911 in abroad. I think Nigeria is 121 or something like that. Make sure that trunk code is working so that you can improve response time. Then look at the number of police you have. How many? About 350,000 or thereabout. Just less than 400,000 to police over 200 million people. How will it work? It cannot work. I remember then when I was doing security, I think one policeman is about, is it 450 or 1,000 something? That's the ratio of police to the population. How will it happen? How can one policeman police 450 people or 500 people? One policeman. It's not possible. So when you strengthen the security architecture, I think something is happening in Kwara State now, a new terror group. And what did I see on TV? Army, releasing army officers. Where is the police? It's because there's no more police. Internal security is weak. Army is not supposed to be the one to be dispatched. It's supposed to be police. That's internal security. In America, before you see National Guard come out, it takes a whole lot of situation for them to come out. What you see is FBI, you see normal police, local police, community police, and the state police. That's people you see as the first line of defense. The National Guard is the second and the last level of defense. And for them to come out, let's know that there's a high security threat before the president will dispatch them. But in Nigeria, if anybody cough in anywhere, they send army. That shows you that the internal security system is weak. So the policing system is weak. And don't forget, we have advocated severally, people have spoken about community policing. Where are we today? Politics. Politics. They are doing nothing. The National Assembly doing nothing. They're supposed to pass that law, community policing law, by breaking the power of the president to be in control of the whole police. So they're supposed to have put community policing in place. And the local policing. You have the vigilante, you have the local government police, like they call it sheriffs, here. You're supposed to have the state police, right? Every state will have their own police, right? And then you now have the federal police. That's the way it's supposed to be. So when you have these 4 layers, right? 3 layers, the local police, the state police, and the federal police. When you have these 3 layers of policing, it will be difficult for crime to happen and the people will escape because the local police will be there. 4 layers, because I added the vigilante as well, who will be working with the local police. And we see how the intelligence community will begin to expand and develop and be strengthened. But no, they won't do it due to politics. Federal government want to be in control so that they can remove any governor. The federal government want to be controlling police so that they can, you see how they remove Fubara, so that they can just remove any governor they want to remove and push police there to block the House of Assembly. That's what they want. So they are afraid if they create community policing, the governor will be doing what they are doing. That's why they are afraid. So why should you be afraid? Create what is needed and be able to strengthen security situation in the country. That is the priority. Now, when you are tackling this security problem, all right, I've mentioned the things that need to be done. You have to recruit police. You can see army is recruiting, and they say Southeasterners, they are not, taking up their quota. They don't want to join the army. And why would they join the army when they can see those who are in the army, who were shot during, battlefield, they are in the hospital. Nobody is taking care of them. They are paying hospital bill from their pocket. They are taking care of themselves by themselves. Where is the government? Where is the army? So when you don't take care of your own, how do you expect people to come and join? People join police abroad because they have good healthcare system. They have good insurance, health insurance. They have their pay. They have all those things. The packages are there. That's what motivates people to join. At least if they kill you in action, that your family is well taken care of. And the package around you can take care of your family even when you are no more. But in Nigeria, no. They send money to the pensions board to take care of the military guys who were killed by Boko Haram in the field. What happened? About 6 people cornered the money and shared the money until the EFCC nabbed them. This is what you see. So where is the motivation? Where is the motivation? I've had a video of an army officer, ex-army officer, who's resigned and left the army, talking about how even when you are shooting the Boko Haram, sympathetic officers will shoot you instead of the officers, that you are killing them too much. These are what you see. So a lot of work need to be done, because if we don't tackle insecurity, agriculture will continue to go down, and food production will continue to drop, and hunger will continue to increase, and then even agricultural contribution to GDP will continue to drop because there's nothing to export. That's why when they devalued the naira, when Tinubu came in and devalued naira, we were like, what are you exporting? You have nothing to export. You import virtually everything you need. So when you look at a country that is serious, we are having issues with oil, petroleum products, and that's why we continue to import. They killed all the 4 refineries like the government owns due to corruption. They killed them. They spent 2 point something billion to revamp them. Till today, none of the 4 refineries is working. And nobody is held accountable. Nobody has been arrested. This is not a country that is serious. They are not. They are not serious. So when you look at the situation, you begin to understand that government has no plan. They have no agenda. They are just there wrestling power and sit down. That's it. In a country where there is darkness, the first step the government is taking to bring in alternative power supply like the solar energy was to put it in villa where they live. So they care about themselves. Had it been that the president, map out this agenda and then said they are starting with the CCDR Council in Abuja to see how it works, and they do solar plant in Kuje, Gwagwalada, Buhari, Kwali, and all these CCDR councils, and then they are budgeting 10 billion to start, Nigerians will complain. But they are started building it for themselves. So they don't care about the people that they govern. That is the issue. So when you look at, what is happening. So I wasn't surprised when the report of the World Bank came out talking about poverty. These are the issues. Farmers, most of the Nigerian farmers are subsistence farmers. It is what they plant that they eat. Whatever remains is what they sell to their local markets. All right? So now they can't go to that farm because herdsmen are killing them. What has government done to address this herdsmen issue? Nothing. And I've made it clear that cattle rearing business is a private business. So government has no business building ranches for the owners of the cattle. He has no business. Government can only provide loan, right, with low interest. Let the cattle owners go and build their ranches. That's every businesses, you must have location. And that's why land is number one primary factor of production, because you need land where you establish the business, right? So they should go and buy their land. Most of them who own land, convert their own land, plant the grass they need, and begin to, do their ranches. Government cannot be building ranches for a private business. Otherwise, all those who have shops in Lagos, in Onitsha, in Kano, will government build shops for them free? No. They pay for the rent. They pay for the shop. So why can't the cattle owner build his own ranch? Go to abroad. You can't see cow anywhere, roaming anywhere, because they own ranches. And that is the way it is done. Open grazing is dead and gone. It's no more in this 21st century. So government need to tackle this issue of open grazing. They should ban it in our laws. Anybody who want to own cow, go and build your ranch. They can come as a cooperative society, contribute resources together, build their ranch, and they put their cows there. Yes, that's how it is done. You can take your loan, do your own, and be repay back the loan. So whatever system you want to use is your choice. But open grazing should no more be allowed in the country. These guys, they go abroad. They have never seen cow anywhere on the street in abroad. So I don't know why it is so in Nigeria. Again, coming to the agriculture, if they don't fix this issue of insecurity, farmers can go to farm and no food will be produced. And you can see the dollar to naira rate. Imagine importing all the foods we are eating, just like we have been doing. It's going to be more crazy, for the country. Now, the petroleum product, we are crying for refinery, and Dangote came up and did this refinery. Since this refinery was commissioned, what has been happening? Infighting between the Dangote and the government, because they don't want that refinery to function. They still want to be importing petroleum product because that is what pays them better due to the corruption in the system. All right? So they still want to retain the importation of petroleum product when we already have a refinery that produces 650,000 barrels per day and that can satisfy the internal consumption and even have extra to export. Why should we still have a business to import petroleum product? Instead of supporting the Dangote refinery, providing all the technical assistance he needs in terms of ensuring that he gets crude in naira, so that if he produces in naira, it will be cheaper. But no, they were fighting him. They have done all kinds of things to crumble that refinery. So that's where you see, when you see government that care about the people, they will be focused on addressing the major problem that affects the people. Because petroleum product, when it's too high, it affects everything. Cost of food, cost of transportation, cost of energy in the house, like people running generators and all this. So there's a whole lot of multiplier effect when the price of petroleum product is high. But no, they don't care. Now, having tackled the issue of insecurity, how it affects agricultural sector and virtually every other sectors, now we look at cutting costs of governance. The president is supposed by now to have shrinked the government. There are agencies where you go there, you will see people, only cattle will be in the offices. Offices dilapidated. You'll be wondering, why are these agencies still receiving budget? So all these kind of agencies need to be scrapped. some that are doing similar things need to be matched. With this, overhead will go down. The cost of paying for the offices where they are will go down. So the government need to wake up. All this buying exotic cars, National Assembly buying 460 Jeeps, SUVs, right? And governments, and they are not even patronizing local manufacturers. They are importing from Toyota. We have local manufacturers. We have Inosim Motor. There are so many of them, in Nigeria that are doing, vehicles, but they don't patronize them. They say import from abroad. They're spending huge, foreign reserve. So these are the things when you see government that want to work, you will know. Trump is doing his tariff now because he wants all production to be done in the US to create jobs for the US. And as I speak, he has raised, within 100 days now in office, he has raised over 4 trillion for the country through businesses that are coming in. So the tariff war is to push American companies in China to come back to the US. That is what it is, because the more they produce here, they pay tax, they create jobs, and the products will be available. They don't need to depend on many countries for what they need. So these are the idea. What is our own idea? Companies are leaving the country. Those who are even still operating are struggling because cost of energy is high and there's no 24-hour power supply. So the issue of power supply, the power sector issue has been a problem for years, and government are doing nothing to deal with this problem. For years, we are still battling with generating less than 10,000 megawatts. Since 24 or 25 years of democracy, we are still stagnated at less than 10,000 megawatts. We have power grid failure every month. Last year, 2024, was about 12 times. The power grid will collapse. That's why the president is trying to put solar in that solar to take care of himself and his family. That's what it is. So a lot of things is there. So look at the poverty now. There's huge unemployment because I think over 10 countries, over 10 companies left the shores of Nigeria when this government took over and started this reform. Most of them left. Those 10 companies, imagine the total number of employees there. They are all unemployed. We're not talking about the numbers of people leaving the university, right? No job. So a lot of unemployed people in the country. And the IMF is suggesting to increase tax to bring more people into the tax net. Who are you bringing into the tax net? People who cannot feed? Which tax are they going to pay? Is it the unemployed you are putting into the tax net? So, like Peter Obi always say, you can't tax somebody who doesn't have anything he's doing. You have to invest in human capital first, and then in return, they will start paying taxes. That's how things work. What are the proper programs that this government has? What program? The social investment program, where are they? So what are the programs that they are doing to lift people out of poverty? All this loan they have collected, where are they investing them? On what projects? On what programs? Nobody can see. You can see Senator Lynn Dume the other day, raising alarm. They are the loans they collected. There's nowhere they can find that this loan. So National Assembly has failed in its oversight because they are now like an agency of the government, of the executive. That's what it is. How can a senator be telling us that they borrowed this loan and they can't find where they put the money? Is it not their job to do oversight on the executive? So this is where we are. They keep borrowing loans and borrowing loans and borrowing loans. So where are we heading to? There's nothing that is trickling down to the people. The reform, so-called reform is doing, has no human impact. It has only negative impact on the people. And your reform is supposed to improve the lives of the people, not destroy their lives. So when you are hearing that we are contributing 15% to global poverty, don't be shocked. That's what it is. You can't feed in the country. For you to cook a pot of soup now, you must be talking about 50 to 100,000 just to cook a pot of soup, and the minimum wage is 70,000. How do people survive? I buy things from Nigeria, so I know what I'm talking about. Food stuff is beyond the reach of the poor. I don't know how they survive. So these are the issues. But they don't understand. When we talk about this poverty thing, they say we don't like the government, we are talking down on the government, we are demarketing Nigeria. Please do the right thing. We will market the right thing you are doing. We are not saying whatever you are doing that is impacting on the lives of the people. So any political power that is not improving the lives of the people and changing their life or protecting their life is not a political power. That's why government have two key functions: protection of lives and property and improving the welfare of the people. So if you have failed in these two, you have failed. There's nothing to write home about. So when you look at this whole scenario, you will see why we are where we are. The reforms are not working. The reforms are not yielding any impact. So we don't need IMF or World Bank to tell us if Nigerians are poor or not. We don't need them to tell us if there is insecurity. We know, we live there. So we know what is happening. We have families at home. We know what the situation is. So we don't need to wait. We don't need statistics from our World Bank or IMF. They are not living in Nigeria. Nigerians are living in Nigeria. So they know how they have been molested by the police. They know how herdsmen overran them, burn their houses and kill them, innocent women and children and men. They know. They know how they can't afford food in the market. So we don't need all these foreign bodies to come and be telling us, the situation. So, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, in 2027 election, they will see a campaign for these people. These same failures will come out as the candidates. Nigerians who are suffering this hunger will still come out to support them. We still come out to, advocate for them. We still come out and campaign for them. We still come out and even vote for them. That's the honest truth. They will fight for them on social media and bigotry in, tribal wars, religious wars, and ethnicity. They will do the fighting for them. That is the honest truth. So that's why most of the times I feel pity for them. Some of the times I don't. Because, to be honest, when you see how these people fight for these failures, you will wonder what has they put in them. So the World Bank report is quite damning. And I don't care whatever they are saying, the economy will grow by this and that. You see, the major critical part of economy is development. Remember, there are two parts, economic growth and economic development. And what matters to the people is economic development, not economic growth. You can, if you like, your GDP can grow by 100% every year. If it's not affecting the lives of the people, it's a failure. So the development part is the critical part, not the growth part. If there is no growth and people's lives are changing, that is more better, because that's the essence of government, to improve the welfare of the people. So if they are talking about the economy will grow by this percent and that 3.6% or whatever percent, that's ridiculous. People are hungry. That is the main thing. The economy is growing for somebody that is hungry, for somebody that can't even think of what to eat tomorrow. No hope. What's the point of the economy growing? So the government is supposed to shrink, the agencies of government. Look at, the president has about 12 SAs in communication, about 12 of them. Why do you need 12 people in communication? Why do you need 12 SAs, special assistant or senior special assistant? Why do you need them? 12. That's what we are talking about. These people, you provide vehicle for them, you pay them rent and all this for 12 people for doing the same job. It's the same job. So these are the wastes we are seeing in government. You can see what is going on in US. You heard about USAID. You are crying. You will see here more Medicare, Social Security. So in America, they have proper program which they call SNAP. People get food stamp every month. Those who are earning below, certain threshold, less than $25,000, I think either $21,000 or thereabout. People earning less than that, they get this food stamp. Government is supporting them, taking from people that are working and supporting those groups. Then the Medicare, Medicaid, they are there to provide health insurance cover for them. Then you have Social Security for the elderly as well. So all these things are social programs. Which one do we have in Nigeria? None. Which one do we have? None. So there must be a poverty alleviation program targeted at the real people, not all these things Buhari did. He sent them money, conditional cash transfer. They mop money, put in their pocket, and say they send money to people. For the private sector to thrive, government need to provide an enabling environment, ease of doing business. You have to provide, subsidy for energy for this productive sector. There's no country that they don't subsidize energy. Go and check. They subsidize energy no matter how little, because energy is a key component to economic development. The government need to do something, and see how they support the productive sector so that they can be able to create jobs for the people. And like Peter B always said, we need to move from consumption to production, because that's the only way to survive. Look at what IMF and World Bank is saying concerning mono economy, the over-reliance on oil. And the price of oil drops, the budget is affected. So I think the benchmark for oil was $75 in the budget, but oil is about $60 or $65 as we speak. So you can imagine there's already a problem in terms of revenue that will be generated from that plan. So I don't see the reason why we will not support and develop our agri sector to provide raw materials and the food that we eat. I don't see any reason. Tackle this insecurity, tackle this herdsmen issue. Let farmers go to farm and plant and be able to provide food and raw materials. I don't see any reason why we will not develop other sectors of our economy. We have the solid mineral sector. We are there. People will come into Nigeria. People who register company as a restaurant will be mining gold in Zamfara, in Kaduna. I don't understand what is really happening. The moment they settle from the top, they close eye for them to do whatever they are doing. So we need to wake up and get things done properly. Follow the rules. But government is doing little or nothing. I can't see somebody that is working so hard to make things happen without you seeing result of that, time and energy is putting in. I can't see where. Things are getting worse by the day. So if this report did not ginger you people, I don't know what next will ginger you people, because now it's all about defection, to party, to prepare for 2027. That's what is happening. Nobody's talking about the economy. Nobody's talking about how to create jobs. Nobody's talking about how to, strengthen the health sector, the education sector, how to invest in people, how to put people from poverty. These are the core components that will improve our HDI and improve economic growth and development. But no, they are not doing that. They are focused on what concerns them and what bothers them. And so, guys, whatever you think, concerning this whole, damning report that came out, highlighting a whole lot of concerns concerning Nigeria economy and the future of the country, between now and 2027. Please let me know your views in the comment section so that we continue to deliberate and see how we can help our nation. Okay. So, guys, if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell so that when my next video drops, you'll be among those to be notified. See you in my next video. I'll be signing out. See you. Thank you for watching.